Hey, what's up everybody? So in today's video, I am going to make COPYCAT Texas Roadhouse rolls along with some ground beef stew. Now, it sounds like, oh, ground beef, you know, obviously stew meat is really good, but ground beef is cheaper and it's what we have. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, let's go. Woo! So I'm gonna start with my COPYCAT Texas Roadhouse rolls. Okay, so in my mixer bowl, I'm gonna start with a half a cup of warm water, 2 packets of yeast, a teaspoon of sugar, and then I'm going to go over to my stove, scald 2 cups of milk. And after that, I have to let that cool to room temperature. And then I'll go back over to my mixer and pour the milk in and also half a cup of sugar. And then I'm going to mix that up a little bit. You see how it's foamy like that? That is so cool. That means your yeast is well and alive. I love it. Meanwhile, I have 2 eggs out to room temperature. So gradually I'm going to start adding my flour. Total is about 7-ish cups of flour. Then meanwhile, you need to melt 3 tablespoons of butter, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that on my stove. And then let that cool afterwards as well. So then I'm going to go over to my mixer bowl again and pour that in. And then crack those 2 eggs in as well. Continue mixing and then continue to gradually add your flour. Also, I'm going to be adding 2 teaspoons of salt. So continue mixing this in your mixer until it forms a soft dough, and then knead it for about 4 to 5 minutes. Just took my dough out and I just sprayed the bowl it was in, put the dough back in and sprayed that, and then covered it up with a towel in a warm area of the kitchen. Meanwhile, I'm going to start making my stew. So I have about a handful of small carrots and 4 potatoes. So I'm just going to, I already washed off my vegetables, so now I'm just going to peel the carrots. Yes, I love to use beef stew meat for my stew. However, this time we're using ground beef. It's more cost effective and it just tastes as good. I mean, I love the meat also, but I'm using this time, and this was the ground beef that we had frozen in our freezer. So to my pot, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. And here I'm just going to chop up my carrots as well and also add those to the pot. Okay, so here over at my stove, I'm just going to add some salt and pepper to the pot. I'm just trying to cook those a little bit before adding all the other ingredients for it to simmer on the stove. So here I'm just going to add some Italian seasoning and then some onion powder and garlic salt, I believe, yeah. And I'm going to add in my ground beef as well. And here also I'm going to add 2 cans of corn. And here I'm going to add in an extra large box of beef broth to the pot. And I'm going to stir it around, and what I do is cook it to boil for probably just a couple of minutes before I turn on simmer and cover it for a while. Over to my table, I'm going to flour this board so that I can get my dough out and prepare that for my rolls. Punching it down. This dough is so smooth and elasticy, is that a word? Elastic-y-ish? Oh, it was so smooth and so good. This reminds me of the dough that we make for our cinnamon rolls. What? So now you're supposed to roll it out into like a rectangle shape. Fold it over. Take your big butcher knife and...
Michael Myers knife.
No. Cut it in half and then make these squares. And then you get your baking sheet out and put them on there, and then you're going to cover them up and let them rise for, I think it was like 30 minutes. So meanwhile, I'm going to prepare my rice because we like to have stew over rice. So I'm just making regular white rice, and this time I think I made 3 cups of rice, so I needed 6 cups of water. Okay, so here I'm going to start my honey, cinnamon, butter, make with these Texas Roadhouse rolls. So what you need for there is, so it was a stick of butter, 2 tablespoons of honey, and half a teaspoon or teaspoon of cinnamon, and using your hand mixer, mix it up until it's fluffy. Half a cup of powdered sugar is also what you need in this bowl to mix up nicely. This is really good. I've never tried it before, but it made a nice spread. It actually looks like peanut butter. But anyway, here's the rolls. And then you're going to take some more melted butter and brush those all on the tops. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. Let your light shine. Bye.